Do 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 do. Ooh, ke kgatsela jwang today, guys. Hello, everyone. Oh, we're live. Okay, sorry, my countdown was slow. My screen froze a bit. Dumelang, Sanbonani, Ninjani. Sure, it's been a very long day today. I'm not in my normal setting. So, hello, Smanga. So, if you guys do hear a bit of noise or background or something, please just let me know. Yeah, I've got 3 kids running around the house. They're having a shower. They've just come from a bike ride. So, yeah, it goes about crazy, Yana, but yeah, I'm hoping that they are silent enough. But welcome again to Around the Table Conversations with KBM, myself. And yeah, it's been it's been a day, guys, and I think a lot of emotions were in the air, with the Tsecho case pending, and just so much around gender-based violence is going on. And I discovered something around that as well today, and it shook me, it shook me so badly. Hello, Gabetwe. But yeah, I think I overcame it. I didn't know if today's show was going to happen. I won't lie to you guys. Like the way we were so under pressure, like everybody was just yes us onto something. But we made it happen, and thank you for tuning in and joining in the conversation. Today's topic is really exciting. It's sex education, and a lot of people were like, yo, sex education, I'm tuning in. So I really do hope to get the engagement from you guys, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. It's a topic that some people do shy away from. Mara, today we will have a fun. Like we're going to speak about anything and everything. So don't be afraid. We're going to explore certain things. We're going to learn as well. But hey, let me not keep you guys waiting and introduce my co-host. Hello, Tando.
Hello, Ponchi.
How are you?
I'm great,
Jeez,
thanks. How does my
I
studio
thought
look?
you wouldn't make it. I was panicking. I'm like, as in today, like, wonke umuntu matasa, like even myself, I was like, I just have to stay here because if I try to go home, I'm not going to make it in time.
Dude, I was also very nervous that I wouldn't make it on time. I don't think I'll make it through the whole show because I'm shooting another live show. I know I'm shooting another show that goes live on Insta at 7 o'clock. So I'll try to be here as long as I can. I'm very excited about this episode. Very, very, very. Especially,
Yeah,
I think
no,
I haven't had sex in a while.
I think so, ne? Like, I think so.
Yeah.
Like,
Like we're very thirsty presenters.
and they were like, B, you're lighting up talking about sex. I'm like, guys, and understand, I've had to discover things about myself that I didn't know existed. You know what I mean? And for all
That's
these
the
years,
good one.
I've never thought about exploring myself. I've had a friend try to introduce it, but I've been like, I'll get to it. Like sex is sex. But yeah, hello Nobuke, I see you there. Hello memes.
I'm
But
very excited. I'm very excited to hear the personal stories, because
yes,
I think my biggest struggle was always wanting to find an expert in every topic that we do. But
true.
like, some of I'm an expert with sex.
Yeah.
So
In our own experiences, in our own
some of I'm
experience.
expert with sex. So I think the personal stories are what's going to drive us. I'm interested in us speaking about our vaginas. Because I mean, you cannot have proper sexual experiences without
Exploring your vagina.
exploring your vagina, knowing your vagina, taking care
Yeah.
of your vagina. Because hey, that's of a smell, or you'll be worried about odor, and you can't even fully experience or enjoy sex. So let's
But
get
also,
into it.
it's not even about just your vagina, but as women, I mean, we take showers in the same places at gym, there's odors, there's
Mm,
all these things.
mm.
So I guess it's not even just about sex, but just as a woman, in totality. But yes, sex being the main topic here. So without wasting any time, because it's Katsehamba Vele, and we find ourselves over time, and people wanting more, hey Tebucho, we can see you there. Let's introduce our guest. So our guest is a sex therapist. And
Mhm.
Boots, thank you, my friend, for introducing me to this lady. I
Thank
found
you
her
for the
on
hookup boots.
yes,
Siyabonga, siyabonga.
I found her on Instagram. Marang tayo ko xoxela into efana. only to find Uguti, I know her. I just didn't know her personally, but I know her. Like, somewhere connection. But anyway, so no man, yes, angmazi serious. Yes, angmazi.
Your answer is not convincing.
Mpana, like Nas. Cishe kwayetheke. Cishe. Mara, it just so happened ukuthi amadlozane and the universe just didn't, make
so
it. I told you the truth again. I told you the truth.
So pretty.
Hi guys.
Hello. How are you?
Wow. Hey, wow.
Yes. Wow.
Okay.
But I'm so glad that I found out that information just before the show, and I was able to say, "Oh my God!" Like,
well, I wouldn't have known anyway. So you were gonna just have your own moment.
You one of the so funny.
Because I didn't know. I had no idea. So yeah. Hi ladies, thank you for having me.
I'm just
it's a pleasure. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll help us navigate this topic with facts, with responsible sexing, and with tips, man.
Yes. Definitely.
Before we introduce you, Ndileka, we usually have an icebreaker, you know what I mean? Okay. But yeah, kind of lighting up. So it's all over the place, you know what I mean? But it's going to be very chilled, But as a sex therapist, right, I want to know, what is your favorite sex position?
Ooh, wow, on the spot already.
Yes.
Sure. I've actually never thought about that question because I've kind of had to explore as I go along because I'm also learning. It's a journey for me as well. So, sure. Wow. I'd have to say woman on top.
Yeah.
I think that that's one.
Woman on top.
Yeah. Because we need tips because apparently the men are saying we fail dismally at that.
The woman on top topic is it's a touchy subject for a lot of women, a lot of ladies. So I think I like it personally because I'm in control for one.
I know, right? I
can show off my skills. Yeah. And also make sure for myself that I do get there, have an orgasm. So woman on top is for women. It has nothing to do with the guys. They enjoy the view. It's amazing, but it's for you. Like it can benefit women more.
Tando, what's your favorite position?
It depends on who I'm doing it with.
But we just want to know.
My position is based on who I'm doing it with.
Ow.
If we're relationshiping, then I like missionary because I like the eye contact. I like how close we feel. But like if it's anybody else, then it's a move. I mean, I don't even have to see
to look at you. Oh my God.
That's so brutal. Like that's so savage, Tando. Jeez, man. Like you just want to get it
for real. But like if we're relationshiping and I love you, I want it missionary. I want to feel the love.
I hear you. Jeez. Sure. My favorite position is the scissor. Like
okay.
Yeah. It's about the deep penetration. It's about making you feel it. You know what I mean? Like I don't know what it is, but it just feels like when there's that deeper penetration, then Uguti, yeah, man, it's there. It just hits something. I don't know. I can't explain it. I can't explain it. But I'm hoping that by the end of this show, I'll be able to explain myself and I'll be able to know the difference and what is. You know what I mean? Because, to be honest, so Bebang office today and we're talking about this topic and I was like, guys, Mina, I've been such a tomboy. Like I couldn't be bothered about sex. Like you just have sex and you figure yourself out as you're going or whoever you're with at that particular time. And they're like, where have you been, girl? It's been a journey for me, having to explore myself, being excited, Ganjani, telling the boys these stories. And I'm like, guys, like I've explored myself. Now I can play with myself. Now I can do certain things. It is just so exciting, you know. But I mean, it's different for all of us, you know. So yeah. I mean, what did it take for you to kind of get to a point where you are comfortable, Ndileka, in exploring yourself or talking about sex openly?
Yeah, I think for me, I've always been expressive. In my sexuality. I've been comfortable with my own body from, I think, for as long as I can remember. It's not like I had like a moment to say, okay, hey, I'm comfortable. Although I kind of didn't express myself around people because of the topic of sex and how people behave around it. But with partners, I was comfortable to say, hey, this is what I like. This is what I want us to do. I don't like this. I don't enjoy this. So I think it's just been who I am. And I kind of like, when this opportunity came for me, it just made sense because it's such a comfortable space for me. And it's been great. It's been just amazing giving people or creating spaces that people can freely talk about sex and kind of get them to a place where they're comfortable around the topic. So for some reason, everyone says when they talk to me, they get a sense of comfort to open up more. So yeah, that's just how I've been. I've been expressive, and I think more importantly, a lot of people think about what are people going to say if I say something. So yeah, it hasn't been a big deal for me. I've just been comfortable talking about it.
So what would you think? Where would you say the journey to sexual emancipation starts? You know, I said in our opening that I feel like it should start with vaginal health. But is it a mental thing? Like where do I start my journey to sexual emancipation? Where do I get to a point where I can communicate what I like and what I don't like? How do I start exploring what I like and what I don't like? So how does one start their journey to sexual emancipation?
That's a very good question. It just doesn't start with your vagina because you have to kind of unpack what sexuality is for you. And that comes with a lot of messaging around religion, if you're a religious person, if you're a cultural person, how you were raised in the house, what else impacted you as a person personally. You know, some people went through traumatic experiences like rape and abuse at a young age. So that affects their sexuality as they grow older. So I think it starts from understanding who you are. What's your sexuality outlook on life, you know?
At what age does that come, Ndi?
What do you mean? Like
of discovering yourself or finding sexual emancipation? I mean, we've got kids that have sex education in school, you know what I mean? And they'll probably want to explore things and understand all these things, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm a parent to a 5-year-old girl. At what point do I start having these conversations? You know, it's going to come from grade 6, I think, from school. Grade 7 when they start talking about these things, and then explore, you know what I mean? Or you find we have these young kids who go through the most as well, you know, like it's there's a lot that comes with
it's really complex. So so obviously as an adult like us, we didn't get the sex education. Well, I think even now it's still a challenge. Yeah, it's like already. But really, they tell you about the uterus and how a baby is formed, and kind of like that's it. You know, if you have sex, you fall pregnant type vibe. And I think as an adult or young adult, if you're at a point where we are at right now, unpacking it needs you to go back, you know, kind of go back. What were you doing as a teenager? How did you start exploring sex is also important, because that adds up to whatever outcome or messages that you tell yourself, you know, the conversations that you have with yourself around sex and sexuality and relationships. all have to do with your life journey, basically. So to answer your question, if you have kids and you have a 5-year-old, you have a 6-year-old, 7-year-old, 10-year-old, by that time, I think they already have an idea, depending on, how you guys live in the house. My niece at 5 years old asked me and my sister years ago, we were watching some sitcom, and she was like, so the couple was kissing, and then they went to the bedroom, and she's like, oh, they're about to have sex now. She was 5.
Wow. Yeah. Don't worry.
So,
I also have a nephew who knows where babies come from.
Really, they say that?
Yeah. Talks about where babies come from, because mom and dad have those conversations with him, and dad is very open about these conversations so that kids don't get surprised as well when they see things or when they hear things, So, you could hear my son is 11, turning 12. And as soon as you start talking sex to him, he's like, ish, mama. But he'll say, yeah, but Raji is also young and he already knows where babies come from. And you're like, So like, when do you start? When do you not start? How do you explain sex to these kids? You know?
So I think that the important thing is to be honest. Just be open. Kids are not dumb. Speak to kids like they understand, like they are adults. You can have adult conversation with kids. And if the question comes, or even if it doesn't come, like find ways to find opportunities to educate them. If you're watching TV and something happens, you're like, okay, this is an educational moment. So I am going to tell them, when you are with a man or a woman or whatever, when you do have sex, this is how this can happen, but obviously how you deliver it is also important. Then you have to look into the context, give them the context. You have to make sure that when you have sex or you decide to have sex with someone, you are in love with this person and it's a person you like, just kind of like give them context of when it can happen, not that it can just happen at any point in time when they choose to happen. And I think as time goes along, if you pay attention, like you're saying, your son is 11. I'm definitely sure he knows about masturbating because they talk about it. I'm definitely sure they've watched porn. Yes, they've watched porn already.
He has watched
porn. He
does.
CDs.
No, what he does. So,
already.
Yeah, where like his uncle was in stitches. He didn't know what to do. Nobody knew what to say. Like it was and I said to him, porn. Like the way I threatened him. And I think at that time, it is shock. You know what I mean? But, so I'm going to move away a bit from the kids now because I can talk about kids the whole day. So the same thing we're talking about is women. Like Utando said that we have to obviously explore our vaginas and we must know how to kind of give ourselves pleasure or whatever. I never used to masturbate for like the longest of times. I couldn't be bothered. All I knew was that I needed to be wet. I needed to have sex and I enjoyed it. And there's certain positions I had figured out that, okay, it becomes good for me. But I really want to talk about the vagina. You know what I mean? Like the vagina is such a precious little thing. Like, all this time,
Yeah.
As a sex therapist, what's the one thing you really enjoy talking about? I saw your Instagram and there's a lot of, hey, the mango, the and you have people putting fingers through it. But like, maybe take us through what the vagina is, like what the pleasure
Can I rephrase that question?
Okay, yes.
Can we talk about what a healthy vagina can do for you sexually?
Okay.
Because I think maybe we'll be wasting time on educating ourselves about the we're supposed to be getting into the sex. So what can a healthy vagina do for you sexually?
So a healthy vagina can give you lots of pleasure. So let's call it a vulva because the vagina is the internal canal where the penis would go into. So you have a vulva that has different areas and different parts that can offer you pleasure. So most of the time when they think about sex, just like you said, Katleo, you just thinking, I'm waiting for a guy to penetrate me. You
yes.
know, so I think a lot of women need to understand that pleasure is not just penetration, and that's where the exploring of the whole vulva comes into play. You know, there's a clitoris.
Vulva
so vulva is the whole organ. Like if you look down, that's the whole vulva. What you see on the outside, the whole vulva. Yes, the whole organ is the vulva. And obviously on the vulva, there's a clitoris, there's the urethra where you obviously use to pee, and then you have the vaginal lips. So you've got the outer lips, which are the labia majora, which are the bigger lips, and then the inner lips.
Yes.
And then inner lips, which are the labia minora, which are minor lips, major lips, basically, for you to help you.
Speaking about lips, is it normal? Like, what is the normal? Like, how should they look like in a normal vagina, or is there no normal vagina?
I don't mean to laugh, guys, but like everyone's face, we're all lighting up talking about it. So exciting. Like, yeah.
So there's no perfect looking vagina. A vagina is not supposed to look a certain way, because they all are different. They come in different shapes and sizes. Some have longer lips, some have smaller lips, some look like there's like just a line in the middle of it. So they're all different. And I think it's a big thing, because then every woman is like, is my vagina normal? Does other people have the same vagina, as so whatever vagina you have, it's fine.
Vagina. No wonder. Yes, there's no normal vagina. They are all different. Yes,
they're all different. The one you have is normal and is normal for you. It's fine. As long as it works. So exploring, obviously, the vulva is important. And I think a good place for every woman to start is the clitoris. That is our pleasure point. It has a lot of nerve endings, and the clitoris is not just that. When you look at the clitoris, I wish I had drawings now so I can show you.
You don't need illustration.
So the clitoris is not just that button that everyone sees. There's like a lot of people call it a bean now.
Yeah.
It's not just limited to just that area, because it goes all the way down the lips, the vaginal lips. The whole gland go all the way down the vaginal lips. So when exploring the clitoris, don't just focus on that part. Engage the lips.
Yeah, I saw when you were doing on your Instagram, you use your hand a lot as a gesture. You know what I mean? So while we are on the lips as well, you will find that a lot of people say that the pleasure is different when you've got like longer lips, and the lips like cover the penis and all of that. Like is all of that true? I mean, we read a lot on social media, and people will share.
Read a lot, dude.
Yeah.
So what is the difference in terms of the lips, like having the lips and covering, like, please go through that.
Okay, so that whole lip situation, in some cultures they intentionally pull it. They pull on the
I know the
yes. And some countries up north in Africa, so it's a thing, they pull it, but that's done for the pleasure of the male.
Oh,
okay.
It does nothing for me. Yeah.
So it's basically done for the pleasure of the male, because that literally, because it will look like that on the penis. Apparently, I don't know. I don't have a penis. Apparently, this sensation gives men more pleasure. However, I've spoken to men who've been with women with longer hanging lips, and it didn't do anything for them.
So, it's just based on people's experiences and stereotypes and all those things. Okay.
I just want to say, when it comes to sex, that's why it's so complex. There's no one size fits all for sex.
Yeah, and I think like sonke sizokhuluma and like it's going to be a thing on different people's experiences and all of that. I see Tembi, thank you so much for that link. About the children consent, because we started off with the children. So I just wanted to acknowledge that as well, And thank you everybody for your contributions. And please do feel free to ask questions and engage. We are all here to answer what we know and what we can possibly share to the next person, So for instance, so we'll talk about the lips, and now within like the vagina, you know what I mean? So you will find Uguti, other people are naturally wet, but discharge and whatever, and all of that stuff. And you'll find Uguti, some people are just naturally dry. You know what I mean? I've always thought, because I never knew that what causes my dryness, and I always used to think Uguti, men get turned off because I'm either dry and using lube is either too embarrassing, because like, what is a man going to think about me and all of that stuff, only to learn Uguti, there's a lot that causes the dryness, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of pleasure as well in using lube, but maybe let's talk about like what I said, the dryness and the wetness of the vagina. What causes that? How do you find pleasure in exploring the different types?
Also, is there, just to add on to Buntle's question, is there a link between can I be naturally wet and can I be naturally dry, or is it just the foreplay that would then control how wet I become? Is it how you entice me, or how you touch me, or how you get me ready for the deed, or does it just all boil down to you are naturally wet, you are naturally dry?
Okay, so to answer your question first, because it was like the end question, Tando. So there's a lot of factors that affect vaginal lubrication. So it's especially for women, there's a lot of hormonal changes in the month, up and down. For a lot of women who are on contraceptives, that's a huge impact. Some women are on some medication that directly affects that. I know a lot of people go into that acne. There's an acne treatment.
Yes. The one that makes you look pink.
Yes, that one. It dries you up. Chronic medication like depression, depression medication also affects you. So there's a lot of things that can affect your vaginal dryness. But the obvious place to start if you are experiencing vaginal dryness is to make sure that you are fully aroused before penetration. And a lot of women, because the guy is already up and ready to go,
they don't go through the full arousal process.
Yeah, they don't allow themselves or even communicate to say, hey, this is how my body works. Yes, sometimes for a quickie, because you've already prepped your mind mentally, you get wet quickly. But most of the time, it takes a couple of minutes. So that's where oral sex will then come into play. So your guy needs to understand, or your partner needs to understand that, hey, my woman takes a little bit of time to, get there or get aroused. So we are gonna engage in oral sex before we have penetration. That also gives you an opportunity to experience an orgasm, because a lot of women don't have orgasms via penetrative sex. That's another thing. So lube helps.
Wait. So a lot of women don't have orgasms through penetrative sex. How do they have orgasms?
By stimulating the clitoris.
Interesting. Okay.
I agree with that.
Yes. No, I'm asking because you'll find Abanya to think that it is just through penetration that you're going to have an orgasm. A lot, maybe because we've explored and we're at this stage, you know what I mean, and we're having this conversation now. But or people that are afraid to say, I don't know how to get an orgasm. You know what I mean? I don't know what an orgasm is. Mara, because of social media and pressure and all of that, you know what I mean? And we don't say Uguti, we don't reach orgasm, it's like getting to your G spot as well, G spot for the longest of times. I just used to think it's for the guys type of thing. But I've learned that because now I've allowed myself to explore. I've allowed myself to touch myself, to enjoy myself, to masturbate, to do whatever. Uzothola amanye amantombazane, not abaningi, sorry. Amanye amantombazane will say that, look, I don't do that. Like, I've got a man. Why would I need to do that? Or you find even men themselves will say, I don't masturbate because I find it uncomfortable, or it's weird, or it's awkward, or whatever, So all these things are a possibility, and all these things possibly do happen. I'm sure you've come across them a lot of times. You know what I mean? But sexual activity is, I feel, or maybe now that I've learned, is about exploring. Ngiyayibona the fun part of it. It's about exploring. But like let's say you're in a new relationship, but listening to these talks, or you've been engaging with your friends, and your friend is telling you, "Oh, show me, I wore sexy lingerie and whatever now," and you want to explore, guys. Like it's a whole process going through all of that, as a new person in a relationship, maybe, or just as a girl who's never explored. Where do you start? You know what I mean? Like the easiest part, how do you just get into the field? You're going through it,
So as Utando had asked before, where do you start when you want to emancipate yourself, or even like just kind of figure yourself out sexually? You need to start, especially for women, you need to start with masturbation, because you need to have a relationship with your body. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll get to that. So, masturbation, I think the word just gives people like anxiety, It's like, oh my gosh, what am I supposed to do? And another thing, when people think of masturbation, they expect to have the same feeling they get when they're with a partner. And it's not the same. It will never be the same. And that's why it's awkward, because a lot of women say, I'm in my head, I touch myself, but I'm just like, it doesn't feel right. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So how do you masturbate? You have 10 fingers. This is a good place to start. Yeah, right? Yeah. Explore the clitoris. And literally, if you're struggling, this is what you can do. You have to set the mood and have obviously the right mindset. So if your mind is not in the right space, it's not going to translate. Your body's not going to respond to what you're doing to it. Our biggest sex organ is our mind. So create the mood
in your head. So it's a fantasy, like,
yes. So I'll give you a few tips. Now I'll give people a few tips. Create the surrounding. So maybe the switch should be, I am making love to myself instead of I am masturbating. I am pleasuring. Yeah, I'm going to pleasure myself instead of using the word masturbation. And from there on, you think about what gets me in the mood. Do you like music? Are you serenaded by music? Do you like candles? Set the mood for yourself. Exactly what you would do for your partner. Do that for yourself, because it's all about you. You're exploring yourself. If taking a bath will relax you, take a long bath and relax. That lingerie that you buy for men that they never appreciate because 2 minutes it's on the floor, wear it for yourself. Look at yourself in the mirror, feel sexy, be sensual for yourself. That already helps you, get to the mind situation, Guys, women and porn, you can use porn to help you masturbate.
Yeah. I actually find that so tricky. Because do you watch porn, or must you watch porn and have someone else in mind? Like it's really tricky,
So use porn for inspiration. So don't use porn for I'm watching porn and I'm imagining that person being me and whatever. So you can use porn and then think about maybe a past sexual experience that you thought was amazing. A person, a lot of women use erotic books. I know Christian 50 Shades of Grey was amazing. The book was even better than the movie because you can
way better
inside your own head and create your own fantasies, your pictures.
Yeah.
So use it for inspiration to help you inspire the fantasies, And once you are there, you can move the phone or the laptop and then just go at it. Press, rub, go up and down on that clitoris, engage the lips until you figure a sensation that you enjoy. And I promise you, a couple of minutes, sometimes seconds, you will get an orgasm. Yeah, the clitoris.
So if you say that we must not think about masturbation as having sex with a man, but do we expect the same sensation when it comes to the orgasm? Or is the sensation, I mean, you're saying it's not like having sex with a man, it's a whole different experience. So is the outcome, is the orgasm the same?
Yeah.
Or the climax, or whatever it is that we go through, where we have that feels so great.
So sometimes when you do masturbate, your orgasm will be intense because you're literally you're hitting the spot right, and you kind of feel, okay, this is nice, let me try it different. You already know what feels good, and you go with it, So with the guy, yes, this motion is amazing, but at the end of the day, sometimes this motion does not help. The spot inside is not stimulated. So this motion can be great if the clitoris is stimulated at the same time.
Don't forget the clit. Keep telling them.
So a lot of people Began buying my headphones because
he's not an assistant today. Does he feel uncomfortable?
Oh, okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wait. Okay, sorry guys. I'm
Yeah, so I think it's just the mindset of just getting comfortable with your own body. And once you are comfortable with your own body and you explore masturbation, I mean, that's why I said you start with your fingers before you even think about a vibrator, before you even think about anything that stimulates the clitoris that has vibration. Use your fingers. I like telling women, you've got a washing machine in the house, it vibrates, sit on it and see what happens.
Sit on it.
Yeah, it vibrates.
That's vibrating.
Yes, sit on it and see what happens.
Okay. You're so naughty, Ndileka. You're so naughty.
Yeah.
So it's all about just kind of being resourceful as well. But once you kind of get to the point of, I know exactly what to do to get me there, it becomes so easier for you to tell your partner that, I don't enjoy this. No.
Okay, so here's one thing, right? So Women on Top is obviously it's not mine. Oh, guys, sorry. So Women on Top, I need to have in a house of people. So now when the kids are finished bathing, so now it's a whole thing. So anyway, you usually are on top, right? So you can kind of stimulate yourself, and that's why Women on Top is for us, right?
Yeah.
However, there is a thing as well, is that men don't like the thrust, the king, man. Like, what do you call it?
When you rub
yourself against them or other. Yeah. Men don't like that. They like the the up and down or whatever you call it. Jesus Christ. So how do you kind of get that pleasure from a man? Is it true or they don't like it as well? But how are you supposed to then both enjoy it and teach him to hit the spot if all they want is, and you can't rub yourself or rub the pelvis towards them, or Yes, so we have a male sex.
There's so many things we do that we don't like.
This is for the women, just so people know. This is just us as women getting comfortable before we even get to the males. Let's figure ourselves out first and love ourselves first. Before we can even say let's engage with the men. And I think the purpose of this show as well is that, yes, I'm a mother, so I mean, we spoke about educating the kids first, but I also want my own pleasure.
Educate yourself,
I also need to learn how to love myself and go through it. So yes, they were noted, but let's love ourselves. Your other comment was let's love ourselves. So yes, we're loving ourselves. Sorry about that.
No problem. So, like I said, there's no one size fits all when it comes to sex. So, whoever said that probably got feedback from one guy to say, actually, I don't enjoy it. And I'm saying, when you're on top and you grinding on the guy, his penis is inside you. So there's a sensation for him. The pelvis has nothing to do with him. Literally, because you're literally rubbing your clitoris on his pelvis. Yes. So that's not supposed to give him any sensation because there's nothing there for him. So that I think we have to be careful around generalizing a lot of things when it comes to sex, because I may enjoy something, the next person may not, but I'm not going to go around and say women don't like this. I don't like this.
Yes.
I think we
definitely. But like I said earlier, I think we read a lot of things on social media. So sometimes you just want to kind of validate or find a different answer or different experience to it. So
My next question is
washing machines about, you see, people are thinking washing machines are
but it's our laundry every day.
Yeah, no, the washing machine you know.
Is my mic muted?
No, we can hear you.
So why are you not listening to me?
Because you were reading the comments.
No, let's check if my mic is muted. So I wanted to ask is, as much as we say sex is about ourselves and our enjoyment and what we like, it's a joint effort, you know? So I know I've done things that I don't usually enjoy, but it gave him sexual pleasure. So how do we start the conversations of discussing the things we like with men, whether they like it or not? Because we do certain things, you know, how do we get to that agreement? Whether you like it or not, it gives me pleasure. Because you find guys that say, I don't go down on a woman, and we take it. You go through a whole relationship without having oral sex.
And it's something that you enjoy getting.
So how do we, I don't even know how to put it, maybe because I'm at work, like, how do we negotiate our rights in the bedroom? How do we negotiate? And also, I'm going to have to leave in like 10 minutes. My shoot.
Okay, cool. So this is a tough one, because when we start relationships, we only focus on, does he make me smile? Are we connected intellectually? Am I happy? Whatever. He's got money, whatever. But we never look at sex. We need to establish whether we are compatible with someone sexually. And that literally means, is this person open to listening, learning, and exploring? So sometimes you only figure out down the line, 5 years in, because you were trying to be a nice girl and you just like, okay, let's just go with what he likes. Let's go with what he likes. But deep down, you know that you are expressive. You know what you want, you know what you like and how you like it. But you've kind of like kept that side away from him. So you're unable now to say, hey, actually, I don't like a finger inside me, or you're not doing it right. So I think we need to get to a point where we have sexual conversations on a day-to-day basis, like discuss sexual activities, as in asking your person, are you hungry? No, yes, I'm not hungry. You know, do you like anal sex?
That a sexual activity.
No, I'm just making an example.
I was about to say, yes.
It's as normal as that, you know. So I think what you can do if you find yourself in that situation is literally dive in and start talking about sex. Kind of figure out what you guys are into, what you like. Are you open to exploring? And don't talk about it when you're about to have sex. Don't talk about it after you've just sex. Don't talk about it during sex, because there's people who were like, what are you doing? Get off me, you know. In that moment, we're both so vulnerable that anything that comes off as, you know,
will be linked to your performance at the time.
Yes, you take it personal, and we close up afterwards, because now, you know. So if you want to give feedback,
has felt, yes,
Yeah, if you want to give feedback to your partner or want to bring it up when you guys are happy and you're watching TV or you're out or whatever, when the mood is just like relaxed and it's not really focused on
Have you seen the meme where they say that guys, stop touching our clits like you're playing the decks?
Yeah, it's like you're a DJ.
So you're like, don't touch my clit like this. Rubbish.
But also,
I just want to ask, based on that, I mean, we've all had different experiences, and we as women, like we're all figuring out that the clit is a very sensitive area. You know what I mean? It becomes a turn off if a man doesn't know how to play with that clit. You know what I mean? So it's how do you teach them? Like, how do you get to a point where you're like, this is how you do it? Do you think men are open to being taught, around how to play with the vagina, how to touch the clitoris? You know what I mean? Like,
so some men are very open and they are aware that if they meet Ndi today and they've dated a Katleho before, they understand that Ndi is a different body altogether. Okay. He is a different person. So I'm literally starting from scratch in trying to figure out what Ndi likes, and that's how we should go about having sex, even from a woman's perspective, because the assumption is every man enjoys a blowjob, and that's not true.
Not true. Yes.
Yeah. Not true. So I think when you guys are comfortable enough to talk to each other about sex, then you both are open to receiving feedback.
I hear you.
Can I ask Bo's question?
Yes, I wanted to ask.
Kegel exercises somehow assist in enhancing an orgasm.
Yes. So, hey.
Now,
yes, it is. So they help strengthen the pelvic floor muscle, and that's where the orgasm comes. That's where the orgasm comes from. So it helps you get intense orgasms.
I hear you. Yeah. Okay. Do you have to go, Tando?
Yeah, I have to go. I'm so sorry, guys.
Okay. I have to go. Okay, thank you for joining us, but goodbye. I'll carry on with Ndi from
Thank you so much for joining us, Ndileka.
The pleasure.
On Monday.
All right, cool. Bye.
But anyway, sorry, Ndi, about that. Just to carry on from that, you know what I mean? You'll find that there's some people that will say Kegel exercises are also very uncomfortable, like or maybe let's start. What are Kegel exercises? I know Sport has asked do they exist? But for people that don't know, what are Kegel exercises? Like ukalapi?
Okay, I'm gonna try explain them in a simpler term. In a way that these are exercises that can help both men and women. But obviously the men parts, a lot of people don't even know about. So we'll focus on the lady because we are told and taught and advised to do Kegel exercises every day. So the Kegel exercise is an exercise for the vagina, for the vaginal walls and the pelvic floor muscle. So it's simply, it's like a squeeze or pulling up of your vagina inside, like you're sucking it inside. And you should feel the pull by your anus and the pull inside the vagina and your pull and a pull inside on your what you call it, pelvic floor, pelvis,
pelvic area.
The pelvic area. So that's a proper Kegel. So once you pull, you need to hold it. Yeah, you need to hold it for a few seconds. Maybe count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then release it. If you're unable to do that, it just means your muscles are not strong enough, and that's why you need by doing Kegel exercises.
So you carry on. You just keep practicing. Yes. Basically, you just keep practicing.
It's exactly like going to the gym. So when you do Kegel exercises, it tones the vaginal walls inside, and it tones. I'll say this area is like the pelvic floor muscle. Okay. So a lot of women need to do pelvic floor muscles. Kegel exercises because it helps There's something called incontinence. That means you're unable or unable to control the muscles of your vagina when you pee. You know, when you go to the loo and you can stop your pee. So once you lose control of that, it's called incontinence, and Kegel exercises can help with that. They can help with also intense orgasms. They can help with also when you're having sex, you can grab the penis.
Yes.
Grip the penis. Also, they can help you when you want to have natural birth. It will be easier for you to push because you are strong. Yeah.
Sure. I just got the chills because it's natural birth, so I don't know how much stronger that would be, you know. But also, I know my best friend is listening, and I know she's had a problem, and I don't know if it becomes a problem that can be solved where she can't hold her pee. So when she says "Chomi ki tshwere ke moroto," you know what I mean? She must go to the toilet now, you know?
Yeah.
Do you think Kegel exercise, and I don't know if it's a sickness or what it is, but I mean, I've learned to understand her and know, Hore, my friend is like this. And when she wants to pee, the car must stop on the side of the
Yeah,
road.
to go, yeah.
Yes. So does practicing Kegel exercises, even through that type of condition, help? You know, is it a condition that can go away as you grow older, as you practice, or like, you know?
Yeah, it can. That's literally called incontinence. When
Okay, so
sometimes because she's even at a better stage because she can say, "I need to go," and then go. Some women just pee and they don't even feel the pee coming out.
Yes.
Because they've lost control of the muscles. That can be reversed with Kegel exercises.
How do you lose control?
The muscles just become, I'll say, die out and become weak. What if you had natural birth? Sometimes the after effect is that, but you can train it back. It's something you can fix with Kegel exercises.
Then she goes and she comments. Yes, you know, but anyway, like it's such an amazing thing, you know what I mean? Because you never know where to start and how to explore yourself, you know what I mean? So another topic when it comes to masturbation is toys, right?
Yes.
And I don't have toys, right? I've never thought about buying toys because I've always thought if I can have a boyfriend, like there's always somebody around. Like we all have flings, or not all. There are people that have flings. I've had my flings. Like, you know what I mean? Little booty call for some people or whatnot. But toys, they are people, or actually, there's a great deal of people that believe in sexual toys, right? And we went to Durban the 1 year, actually, and we had a girl who was also part of Pure Romance and stuff.
Yeah.
She's like, "Oh, you guys must start this, you must do this." And I'm like, pretty girl, like, why? Like, pretty lazy all over again. But weirdly enough, I was having this conversation with my partner 2 weeks ago or so, and he was like, "I will go with you to go and buy toys," you know?
Yeah.
And he kind of, what's the word? Not influence, but he encourages having toys and playing with toys. What's that type of feeling like, you know, or that level? Like, I get what type of masturbation is it? What do toys do? How do they enhance? I've got so many questions around toys because I can't even walk into an adult shop and I'll be like, you know?
Yeah. So adult shops are intimidating because you're expected to know what you want and go for it, right?
Definitely. And I don't know nothing.
So toys offer a different sensation and a different experience altogether, whether you're masturbating or using them with your partner. So it's also important to know that toys are just enhancements. They should be the cherry on top.
Okay. So the cherry on top after I've explored myself.
After you've explored, so now you're comfortable with using your fingers and the washing machine. So now you want to so now you want to elevate and try. So you're still exploring because now you're trying a different experience. So I mean, there's all sorts of toys. There's toys that stimulate the clitoris. There's toys that stimulate the G-spot. There are vibrators that are, for penetrative, purposes. There are dildos that don't vibrate. So there's so many things that are available that one can explore for themselves.
It's a different conversation altogether.
Explore for yourself and for your partner. I mean, you guys can buy a vibrator and he can use it on you. That will give you a different experience than if you use it on yourself. Yes. So that gives a different experience.
Himself.
Hey?
Doesn't he get a hard on himself and then he still has to use this toy? What's that like? I'm just asking from a point of, let's say ngumuntongas, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and I just really want to figure out what is that process, what goes on, like how does it work? Because automatically you're thinking when a man is hard, he must stick it in and like it's good to go,
Yeah. So a lot of couples do a lot of different things. So I'll give you different scenarios. Ne? So I'll carry on this one, that you guys buy a toy and a vibrator, because toys are different. So you get a vibrator and he's like, I want to use this on you. So it could be your partner wants you to have an orgasm first before he penetrates you. So it's your pleasure first before he gets his. I don't know if I'm making sense.
You are. So my next question would be, I mean, as a woman, you'd think you expect the pleasure from him. So why must he then use a toy? Why can't he just like give me that pleasure?
He can on other days. You don't use the toy all the time. So that's what I'm saying. It's just it's a cherry on top. One day you'll use a toy. One day he will do whatever on you, depending on what you like. So it's just like the 1,000 islands on a cake. The flavors in the cake, but the vibrator and the toys are just like sprinkles on top. So another way could be you guys get a butt plug, for instance.
Okay. Butt plug.
So a butt plug is a toy for the anus that stimulates the anus.
Okay.
So this can be used by you as a person with a vagina.
Wow, babes, because I asked what a butt plug is. Like, do you understand that? One judge, this girl. But yeah, sorry.
So it can be used on you as a person with a vagina or on your partner if he has a penis. Ne? So how you can use it is you put the butt plug in the anus and you guys have sex the normal way. So he can penetrate while the butt plug is in your anus.
So it's like when you stick your finger up his anus, there are people that stick fingers up their partner's anuses. And so does it give the same sensation as well?
Yes. For him.
Yes, for him. Because obviously you're stimulating him when you have your finger up his ass or whatever. Okay, great. Yeah. I mean, I'm not excited to be butt plug, so you can charge all you want. Excited.
I'm eating her. Sometimes the kiddie ring, like there's those penis rings.
I know those penis rings, and I know. So there are a few things that I know. It's not like I'm completely, you know what I mean? But yes. For some women, it's taken a lot for them to kind of explore themselves. You know what I mean? Yeah. For some women, they're still very shy to say, let me go and buy toys. Let me use toys. No, I didn't buy them because not that next Sabbath, but I just didn't find the need. I'd go to a sex ball with my friends and people go, they're wilding dog. Like people buying things. But it's just exciting to hear what people are talking about. And I'm like, friend, you've got a dildo. But I mean, I had a conversation with another woman who was saying that I would rather play with toys kala so that I explore myself. That when I do meet a man, whether it's a one-night stand, whether it is a relationship or whatever it is, I then teach this man. I think it's part of the conversations that we were having, a part of the show, that you're then teaching this man how to treat you. You know what I mean? Sure, I guess it comes with a lot, we have run out of time, unfortunately, and maybe we just need another session where you're going to teach us about toys, what the purpose of lubrication is, why the different toys kind of matter. I mean, there's handcuffing, there's the different sex positions as well. But I think more about today was kind of exploring yourself, being comfortable with yourself. I mean, because my handcuff when you're not comfortable with yourself. You know what I mean? You can't let the next person kind of just play with a toy or whatever, you know. So I'm glad we actually had this conversation, you know. But I think the sex toys we must have the men, you know, and hear their opinions, because yes, now that we are kind of comfortable with ourselves, we love ourselves, and it's okay, you know. Now I can go bath, and after bathing, I know what I can do with myself. There's a whole lot, you know, I can go in, you know? But also then there becomes an element of, like we said in the beginning, the sex education for the kids, you know. But just to kind of close it off as well, Lindy, you know, we always want to have safe sex type of thing, you know. You always want to stay healthy. You always want to make sure that you don't have an odor, you know. How do we go around that, you know? Or maybe just give advice on sexual health, if I can call it, if there's such a thing, you know, or personal treatment or health, hygiene, you know, around your pussy, and not I'm not saying but because we're talking about sexuality.
Yes, it's very important, because you think it's common sense, but it's actually not, actually. So just hygiene tips on a daily basis. Your vagina does not need flowers or roses, or doesn't need to smell like flowers and roses and whatever else, you know, people want to smell, or whatever, you know. So wash it on the outside with water. Wash the vulva. Let me say, wash the vulva, which is the lips, with water. You just need water, no soap. The vagina inside, where the penis goes in, it cleans itself. So you don't even need to put your finger in there and clean it, or put a cloth inside, because when you do that, you disrupt the natural pH balance. And that's why a lot of women will experience having thrushes or yeast infections, because once you put a finger inside or a cloth inside, you're literally taking away the healthy bacteria outside of the vagina. So water is all you need, literally, because you're literally removing sweat from every day, or the lotion that you put on your body from every day on the lips. So wash with water. Guys, pap smear is important, because you need to know that the bacteria is okay. There's no signs of cervical cancer. Once a year is okay. But obviously, if you are prone to getting yeast infections, you can go whenever you feel you need to go. A vagina is not supposed to have a bad smell. That fish smell is not healthy. It means go to the gynae immediately.
So I mean, we also try to find a lot of remedies, you know, pineapple, and all of those things, you know. So
okay, so body pineapple and the fruits and the veggies that are obviously what you eat is it's for the taste, not for the smell.
There we go.
Yes.
The
so
difference.
you eat good to taste good for when your partner goes down on you. It does not affect your smell. The vagina smells like a vagina, but if obviously the discharge inside is off and it smells fishy, you could have bacteria, or you could have an STI. And the unfortunate thing is, for women, the STI normally doesn't show itself immediately. So it will take a while.
And because there's different STIs as well. Exactly. You know what I mean? So you even know what.
Yeah. So I would, like I said, the washing, the hygiene, keep it simple. You don't even need those products that we buy. You don't need that. Regular checkups, pap smear is good. If it feels off or the discharge is a funny color, go check it out immediately. Don't wait until things are bad, because you never know what it could be.
Sure. Okay. Thank you. I think that kind of has summed up our show. I feel like we've only touched on a 2%, or a 5% of what this
there's
topic
so
is
much.
about. There's
It's
so much,
Yeah.
and maybe Lorona, we didn't ask the right questions. I don't even know what is a right or a wrong question. You know what I mean? But like I said, these are conversations amongst friends. We are all. I'd like to consider us as friends sitting at a table, having the conversation and trying to figure things out. But I'm glad we started somewhere. I'm glad we started at the most critical point, because once you start there, it's easy for you to kind of then immerse yourself into other elements of sex, let's say, I think there's also the LG, guys, I never get that community. Sorry, LGBTQI plus. I always get that alphabet wrong. But anyway, there's that community to also kind of get into, you know what I mean? There's the woman to woman sensation, sexuality. There's so many things, so I think we just need another session, but this was the beginning, and it's funny because women do actually enjoy talking about sex. It's just that I get to shy, but it's such an exciting topic. People's faces light up, But just before we go, I just want to read the poll. No. So all the questions are done. I just want to read a poll. So we had a poll earlier on what is your favorite sex position. Sorry, I'm gonna find it.
Okay.
There we go. Jeez, I've had such a busy day. There we go. Shoo. Okay. So we asked, what is your favorite sex position? So one, we had doggy style. We had missionary, we had woman on top, we had scissors. 71 votes went to doggy style. Ne?
Oh, wow. Okay.
51 votes went to missionary.
Okay.
36 votes went to woman on top.
Okay.
And 17 votes went to scissors. Jesus, that's... I don't know if all of this is true or it's not or whatever, but obviously it's different. It's people's different experiences, Before we go, can we just also answer this question? The yoni steams, a yay or a nay?
Oh, yoni steams.
Do you see now that we're unpacking?
Okay, so I'm going to answer like I always answer regarding yoni steams. So again, yoni steams, just to explain to those who don't know what it is using steaming herbs or using certain herbs mixed together, and you boil them and you steam your vagina, basically.
Sure.
So just like you would steam your face, you use a bucket or whatever, and you sit on the steam to steam your vagina. So herbs, as our ancient grandmothers and grandparents and whatnot, they used herbs to heal a lot of things in their bodies, whether they drank them or washed with them or whatever. So this is where the practice comes from. Obviously, it's apparently not African, but I believe we also
have our own term, possibly.
We also have our own terms, because I know a lot of women use onion and garlic, I think.
Yes.
Because I've seen that
after I gave birth.
Exactly. So I mean, that helps the healing process quicker, So I think it's the same concept. It promises a lot of benefits like fibroids, cysts, helps with infertility, helps with keeping the vagina healthy, helps with there's like a long list, basically, of what vaginal steaming can help you with. I just want to say vaginal steaming is not for cleaning the vagina. I just want everyone to just know that it's the benefits that it promises to have. Scientifically, they haven't proven that it does, but obviously a lot of people speak on them. So there's a lot of women who've used herbs, steaming herbs for infertility, and it works to get rid of fibroids, get rid of cysts, to regulate their periods. So I think it's all about if you believe in herbs, then you can use it, because then your intention, because herbs is all about, using herbs is all about your intention. Like if you believe something is going to work, it will work for you.
Definitely.
So yeah,
so
exactly.
I know it's the wrong platform, but anyway, not only because it trended.
It's the same concept. It's the same. If you don't believe in it, you won't see anything.
Yes, you won't see
it. If something will happen, it will. So medically and scientifically, they haven't found proof that they help, but people are using them. People do use them. So logically, I think it just keeps the vagina healthy, because once the steam goes to the vagina heats up and blood flows to the vagina, and that's good for the vagina to keep it vibrant and healthy. It's the same as when you masturbate. Blood flows down and, you keep it healthy.
I learned something or two on the show today. I really, really did, Unfortunately, our time is up, and just to respect your time. And I know you guys probably want us to go on and on and on forever. But, so everybody's got commitments, and we just kind of set up the time as well, But thank you so much for everybody in joining in the conversation. I think it was very fruitful. I think it was the beginning of something. I think it was a start, And just to also kind of add on, and I don't know if anybody's kind of watched it. So this was inspired as well by Sex Education on Netflix, You guys must watch it. It's a hilarious series, you know what I mean?
Yes,
A very socially awkward teenager who's got a mother who's a sex therapist as well. And it is the funniest thing ever, you know what I mean? But also it kind of just, it blows you over, because you think then, Uguti, guys, we actually can have these conversations, You have people that boy was charging people on giving advice. We're sitting with Ndileka here for a whole hour without paying, and we're like, let's talk about it, But thank you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you to the family. I said I'm going to stop calling you guys viewers and audience. Thank you. Family, because we always have people coming back and listening to our conversations, joining in on our conversations as well. Ndie, I definitely am going to call you back again, because we've got a lot that we need to unpack, But once again from me to you. And guys, there's a show on Monday again. That's the male show, and we will be talking about mental health. So please do tune in on Monday. Don't forget about us. Yes, we'll send our reminders. But from me to you, Ndie, all the love. Thank you so much. I'm glad.
Thank you so much. I'll be happy to come back. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I'm not taking you anywhere. I'm not.
Thank you, and bye everyone. Bye guys.
Your evening,
Thank you.
Oh, sorry. I think I cut her off there. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining in. Thank you for your time. Thank you for everything. I'm then going to say good night. All the love to everyone. Sweet dreams. Don't let the bed bugs bite. And let's join in on Monday again. Thank you so much.